This episode of the Scatterbrained Hour has 100% full spoilers for Mutant Mayhem. What's up, y'all? This is indeed the man chilling like a villain, singing like Bob Dylan. Keep it on those dumb stuff where we go. And all right, so let's give just give people some context because this is like the first of this is the first of hopefully many in the future. Where okay, so let me give people context. I'm doing just this is just audio. I'm not doing a video. Because I just want to feel free. I don't feel like setting up no camera or nothing like that. I just want to have, just unedited, conversation about TMNT Mutant Mayhem. Now, I recently did a roundtable with Queen G and Brookston and Shang and Exile, and I wanted to include Alex in it, but because of the scheduling, I could only do it on a certain day, and so Alex wasn't able to do it. But I'm with him now, and Alex has been on two of my podcasts. He was on the Wakanda Forever episode and the Ant-Man episode, and I really value his opinion when it comes to movies. Plus, I've been friends with him since high school, and we always have these crazy conversations over the phone. And so, I want to know his take on Mutant Mayhem. So, what's up, Alex?
What's good, bro? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. It's Sunday. You know what I'm saying? This is I go back to work tomorrow. I'm not really looking forward to that. I'm trying to be positive about it, but whatever.
Yeah, it's
Just
never enough weekend though.
never,
Never
man.
enough weekend.
Just getting back on the grind, but I'm actually ready to make some money again because I spent way too much money this summer. And so anyway, Mayhem. Because there's a lot when I did the roundtable, there was a lot of things I didn't get a chance to say, and I didn't think about all those things until I stopped record, and I was like, man, I forgot about this part and that part. And overall, I did like the movie. It took two tries for me to watch that movie to really like it because the first time I watched it, there was a kid and they were making a lot of noise and talking during the whole movie. And
I
I
remember
think a
them
lot.
days.
Yeah, man, it was like if people are listening or whatever. If I know it's a kids movie and everything like that, but have the decency if your child doesn't know how to behave himself in a movie theater, have the decency to get a babysitter because people pay like $18 a pop for a ticket nowadays, and they want to enjoy the movie. So, but overall, I like the film. There's the things I really didn't get to say in the original the roundtable discussion, which is available to listen on all major platforms. I didn't get the I didn't really get a chance to say like there's so much in that movie that I liked, but there's also the things that I didn't like that were so heavy. Uh, it kind of balances it all out. Like if you're looking at it on the scale, it's just like there's a lot of things I liked, but the things that I didn't like, maybe like two or three things were really heavy. And one of those things I didn't like was Splinter's origin story. I thought it was very
Um,
different than what I'm used to, and I do look at it in a way of like what Brookston was saying. He was like, he feel like this is like an Elseworlds Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where, I look at it that way, but it's just like, it's just certain things I feel like shouldn't change. But
right.
I have a theory behind it, which kind of gives me comfort, which is I don't think Splinter was being 100% honest with the boys as far as his own personal
Yo,
origin.
I was thinking the same thing.
You were thinking it?
I
So
was
good. I'm
thinking
not
that because,
alone.
well, you said full spoilers, right?
Full spoilers, 100%. Let's go for it.
Okay. With the mid-credit scene with, when the shredder showed up, I'm like, okay, maybe they are going to go back and like be like, yo, I didn't tell you the whole story. Because remember, they had got in trouble for being out too long. And Splinter was like, as punishment, he going to tell him his story, you know what I'm saying? That his bad interaction with humans or whatever. And, and then when they grown, he was like, and just for that, I'm going to tell you the long version. And then he went into the
Right.
long version. But what if that's not the longest version? I'm hoping so. Because the whole learning ninjutsu from a book thing that carried over from the Michael Bay movies, I'm not feeling that.
Right.
I'm
And
not feeling it.
I mean, there's a lot of things I ain't feeling about the Michael Bay joints. But
Oh,
but
shoot. That's a
like
whole nother conversation.
yeah, that's yeah. It's like it's not just that. It's like okay, I know Jackie Chan. He's from Hong Kong. He's not from Japan, but still, you hire an Asian actor to do the voice of Splinter. So why would you do that if his origin isn't of being of Asian descent isn't important? So I'm like, okay, either you're a rat from Japan, right? or you were Hamato Yoshi, just like in the cartoons. You were Hamato Yoshi. You hung out with you got exiled about a foot. You moved to New York, hung out with a bunch of rats, and touched the mutagen and whatever with the turtles. And because you're human and you touched them, they became more human like, and then vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And I think what it is like, because as a human being exiled by the foot, and you know how human beings can be, you give them you give him this narrative that all humans are bad. You know what I'm saying? But it would be, I think he's actually human and he turned into a rat. And I think one of the bigger conflicts in the second film would be, it's like, hold on, you've been telling us humans are bad all this time, but yet you're a human yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's gonna reveal, and also that will, you know, you'll have a connect. There'll be a connection between Hamato Yoshi and Oroku Saki, who is Shredder. I'm assuming is Shredder. So that gave me comfort, and I'm like, okay, I'm cool with, if that's how it's going to be, then I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And also because all of the mutants are living, with them. I think that would cause a divide as well with all the mutants, because Bebop and Rocksteady living with them is kind of weird to me, and as well as the other mutants. I don't know. It's not what I'm used to. Um,
Yeah.
Another thing I had a hard time wrapping my head around, the actor that does the voice of Michelangelo, Shaman Brown Jr. Yeah,
Yeah.
a great young guy. I just cannot. The voice doesn't match to me with Michelangelo. I mean, but I love his take on it. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
with Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there was an African American actor who did the voice of Michelangelo, and I really accepted his take on it. It just it fit better than what Shaman Brown Jr. was doing. I don't know. I had an issue with it, just a little bit of an issue, but I was thoroughly
He
impressed
actually
with
gave
him.
me he gave me Rise of the TMNT vibe for his voice.
Oh,
Like it kind of sounded similar-ish, like not like the same, but like along the same line. And so I kind of rock with it. I didn't have a pro. Well, I rock with it, meaning I just didn't have a problem. Like it didn't stand out to me as an issue. But that's
yeah,
interesting though.
well, it's funny. I just watched an interview of him, and which I'm surprised they're able to do interviews with the writer strike and everything going on. But that's a
Uh-huh.
whole different bag of cats. But like he said that when he watched Rise, and the actor who did the voice of Michelangelo Rise, his name is Brandon Michael Smith,
Okay.
Brandon McKell Smith. He said he kind of was inspired by his version of Michelangelo, because he wasn't like doing the surfer dude thing. You know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
like
Right.
I can appreciate it for that. I mean, and I'm not trying to knock the actor. It just took me a while to get used to that voice. Everybody else was great. I was really impressed by Brady Noon, because I recognized Brady Noon from the Mighty Duck series that came on Disney Plus. And and I was like, wow, he was able to get that little gravelly, not gravelly, but you know what I'm saying, like that kind of rough voice, you know what I'm saying? I didn't expect that for him.
Oh, for
Um
Raphael.
for Raphael. I mean, from him specifically, because I remember him as a squeaky voiced teen on the Mighty Ducks, and now he's like
Ah,
doing that. I just didn't see that coming from him. Really like April a whole lot. I thought she was hilarious, and the actress that
she
did
was
her
funny.
voice, and the actress that did her voice was on the show called The Bear on Hulu, and I really like that show. If y'all haven't seen that show, it's fantastic. Um, but yeah, I mean, those are basically my things about the movie. I really like the fact that they went to school at the end and they took off the mask, and Michelangelo had the Hawaiian shirt, kind of like harking back to like
Cowabunga
episodes,
days.
the Cowabunga days. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more I liked about the film that I didn't like, and so overall, I just thought it was a great movie. This is really funny part, and I caught it the second time, where April's talking to the turtles on the subway,
Hmm.
and she's writing a list down of the things that she wants to ask them. Like, and one of the things was, she's like, "Are you guys responsible for COVID?" I was dying.
I didn't catch that. That's funny.
Oh my God, I was wrong, because it was like, because she was like, "No, I haven't really been thinking about it," but she had all of these crazy questions, and so I got to watch it again just to see that part. But yeah, I mean,
That was hilarious.
yeah, man. what did you think of the movie overall? I mean, what were your thoughts? I'd love to hear that. You know,
I overall I liked it overall, but my biggest complaint is them learning ninjutsu from a book. I don't like that part. Now give me some Hamato Yoshi or Roku Saki. You know what I mean? Give me that origin. You know what I'm saying? No matter how you chop it up, because in the IDW comics right now, I think they're like reincarnated. So they're reincarnated
right?
from ancient, you know what I'm saying? So that was dope. That was a spin on it that was dope. Or the 80s cartoon version that was a spin where Splinter was actually Hamato Yoshi. That was the first version that I had ever known. And it
Yeah,
wasn't
me too.
until the 90s movie that I found out that Splinter was a rat and Hamato Yoshi was his master. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
you know, so any spin on that right there, I'm rocking with. But the learning the ninjutsu from a book, because it's like, yo, if you're gonna teach them to protect themselves, why not just give them guns? I mean, they're in New York, give them guns. You know what I'm saying? If your base motive is just I'm a random rat that got mutated into a giant rat man, and now I want you to protect yourself, you gonna give them some guns. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna teach them
Right.
to be ninja. But so that was just kind of funny to me. Another gripe that I had about it is Raphael. I like Raphael's gravelly voice, but he gotta have a Brooklyn accent. The nineties movie got me on the Brooklyn accent. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Where did it come up with this stuff? You know what I mean? That's my horrible Brooklyn accent. But you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that that was terrible. But yeah, I apologize to any listeners from Brooklyn. I only been there one time, so you know what I'm saying? Right with. But
What does he say in the first film? He says, "What's the guy got to do to get some food
it's
around
food around
here?
here.
He wants some food. Give him food." I'm sorry.
Every now and then you gotta quote Ninja Turtles. Every now and
Man,
then.
hey, look, it's the best one. I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just want to say this real quick because when I did the round table, I asked them how would they rank this one among the others, and I said my what I said was 1990 number one, Secret of the Ooze number two, number three, Rise of TMNT, number four, Mutant Mayhem, number five, uh, TMNT 2007, and number six, part three, which came out in 1993. I don't even include the Michael Bay joints because I think they're garbage. So, um, so I mean, really, I mean, dude, they're bad, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're bad. They had there's no redeeming. They're 10 feet tall, man, and they're trying to be ninjas. Get the hell out of here. Nope.
Yeah, oh
No
yeah.
sir.
You're a 10 foot tall ninja, and when you turn a flip and land, you crack the sidewalk. Like how you a ninja and you breaking the ground when you land and whatnot. But yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
one thing I loved about them, like from the cartoons of the '87 cartoon, is like they're shorter than April, and I thought that was cool. And they were actually shorter than a lot of the people they fought. And as a short person
yeah,
myself, it's like that's cool seeing a short person kind of like, it doesn't matter your height, it's as long as you
yeah,
got the skills. You know what I'm saying? I love that. You know what I'm saying? So for them to be 10 feet tall and monsters, I'm like, bro, there's not a lot you're gonna have to do to like
yeah.
disarm people. You know what I'm saying? Especially
You
if you
just
got
wave your
the
arm and you knocking
katanas.
20 guys through the
Yeah,
air and stuff. You
yeah,
don't even need weapons. You're a whole ogre in the
dude,
street. You bulletproof. You're a
you
bulletproof ogre,
bulletproof.
and you just wave your arm and like foot soldiers go flying everywhere. That didn't make for any exciting fights. I mean, because like you said in the '87 cartoon, they were shorter than ever. They were like 4 feet tall in the '80s cartoon, and in the '90s movie, they were like man size. It was probably like 5 something, 5 foot something. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and so even then, they were still man size, so it made for a good. You can go back and forth with the foot soldiers, with regular people. You can have a back and forth good fighting. But yeah, yeah, the
Right.
humongous turtles. I like the way they were animated though, like the facial expressions and stuff. Not the facial designs, but the
Okay.
animation of it. I thought was good. I think that they should do a live action CGI hybrid, like Where the Wild Things Are, where they look like they were suits or whatever.
Mm,
They was real, but the facial animations and stuff was, I guess, was done with CGI or CGI enhancements or something. I think they should do a live action movie like that. But yeah, I would rank Mutant Mayhem I would say the '90s joint number one. You know what I'm saying? I think that's gonna stay number one. Um, then I would put Rise of the TMNT is number two. Is my second. Because I didn't really vibe with Secret of the Ooze like everybody else in my generation did. You know,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it wasn't as serious. They was kind of frog looking. You know what I'm saying? And the design started getting more cartoony with the bigger eyes and the spots on their face, and they didn't
Right.
use weapons. You know what I'm saying? They played a lot, and then Donatello's voice was different. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the way Donatello used to laugh in that movie. I didn't like it. I didn't like that. Secret of the Ooze didn't vibe with me like that. Um,
Wow.
part three, I couldn't even.
I love the actor who did Donatello's voice in the second film. I'm sorry, but go ahead. Yeah,
But my man did. Corey
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 Feldman.
Corey Feldman did part one, and that's it's Corey Feldman. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right, right.
you know, but it wasn't. His voice wasn't bad. It's just I was expecting Corey Feldman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Again, it's like, yo, that's not the same voice. You know what I mean? And so there was that. You know what I mean? Um, part three, I couldn't even finish part three. I actually didn't even get a chance to watch part three till I was grown. So I think
Wow.
that had a big part in it. Yeah, because for whatever reason, I never got to it. I guess I kind of when you kind of outgrow certain things at a certain time and then you come back
Oh yeah.
around to it. I think I
Right.
had got out of the Turtles and got into like the Marvel stuff. I started getting into Spider-Man and X-Men and stuff like that. So I kind of left the
Hmm.
Turtles alone. And then I came back to, and during that season is when, part three had came out. And so I wasn't in no hurry to see it. The video games were still dope. So I was still hard body on the video games, but just not the movies. And because I guess because I wasn't feeling Secret of the Ooze like that, so I wasn't really checking for part three. But so I never even finished part three. So I would put that behind the Bay movies, honestly, because what I'm saying, it was in the angry Nintendo nerd, he ain't help, with his review on it.
That mess was hilarious. Dude, I've
That
seen
was
it so many
hilarious.
times. I never get tired of it. Whenever I'm feeling a certain way, I I have different comfort things I like to watch when I'm feeling a certain way. That's one of them. Uh, and so yeah. That if anybody ever has a chance, if you hate Ninja Turtles 3 as much as most people do, um, watch that and you'll crack up because everything he says is totally spot on. Angry video game nerd on YouTube. Yeah, what I was about to say. Okay, yeah, it said something. I just wanted to immediately say something. I can't remember what I was gonna say. But no,
Oh
finish
shoot,
your
just jump
rankings.
in
I'm
there.
sorry.
Um, what I said the '90s, Rise. Um, I don't know. I don't know because the TMNT the 2017 joint was real good. I don't know if I would rank it above Mutant Mayhem. They probably about neck and neck to me. They probably about neck and neck to me
Or even
because it
like
did have some
okay,
good action.
eh, okay. Let me ask you something then. Like and just animated. Let's go off of animated. Let's leave the classics, as they are, the live actions or whatever. So between
Yeah.
and I forgot to even mention this in the original roundtable because there's another animated TMNT movie where I forgot, which is like Batman versus TMNT. And so,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
so between Rise, Netflix's Rise movie, Mutant Mayhem, and TMNT 2007, and yeah, I don't know if you did you watch the Batman joint versus
No,
TMNT?
I seen a clip of it where Batman beat up all four turtles, and after that, I was just like, I don't even want to see it because
Hey, he
Batman is
was
cheat code. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah,
yeah, he was a little too OP in my opinion, but there
and
were some
he just
really
beat
cool
all
parts
four of
between
them
him and Shredder. I'll say
for
that.
real.
Oh gosh, that's to me
Uh,
like that made it worth watching. You know what I'm saying? Because Shredder was digging in him,
okay,
man. Yeah.
yeah.
But I let's exclude that since you haven't seen it. So between the three animated like TMNT 2007, Mutant Mayhem, and Rise of TMNT, how would you rank it?
Rise is number one because Rise was definitely like suspenseful to me. You know what I mean?
Bro.
Because that had suspense and it had emotion. And the suspense came from the fact that I knew that the show was already canceled. So since the show was over, it's like, yo, it's no holds barred. They can do whatever they want with it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that was like, yo, they gonna kill Splinter? You know what I'm saying? Because at one point I was like, yo, they about to kill Splinter? You know what I mean? Like, what's about to happen? Because you know, in Act Two, at the end of Act Two, usually when all goes bad and all is lost, a lot of times somebody die in that point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, they about to do
Mm-hmm.
that? And then in the 2012 animated series, spoiler alert, Splinter didn't make it out of there. You know what I mean? So I actually didn't even finish that series. I was almost finished with it. But yeah, and so Splinter didn't make it out of that. And that was actually probably my favorite animated TV show version of the Turtles was the 2012 thing.
Oh,
All
yeah,
nostalgia aside, I think
yeah.
that was the best one because it incorporated so much from the comics, from the previous
Right.
cartoon series, and all of that. The movies, it pulled stuff from all of that, you know what I mean, and put it all together. It switched it up a little bit, but since it pulled all of that stuff together, that gave it like the best of all of the worlds. And Turtles Forever was great. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where I would rank that at because that was great. That was just fun as heck. Um, dang, what in the Mutant Mayhem in the 2017 joint? I would make them like neck and neck for different
Okay.
reasons. And I'm a sucker for a good superhero pose. You know what I'm saying? Like a good team assemble, strike a pose, and then jump into the action. I'm a sucker for that. And they did that a couple of times in Mutant Mayhem. One thing and another gripe that I got about Mutant Mayhem is Rocksteady and Bebop being good guys, like trying to write off the rip. I'm like, I wanted to see them as bad guys, Shredder's henchmen for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
if they turn good later, then okay, turn good later. But they turn good kind of quick, you know what I mean? And so
right.
you didn't have that cohesiveness with, you know what I'm saying, with my nostalgia. That didn't match with my nostalgia. That's just me being an old man, you know what I'm saying? So I own that. But dang, there was something else I was gonna say. It is getting away from me right now. It was another gripe. It was dealing with Rocksteady and Bebop. Maybe they bring in Toka and Razor. And you know what I'm thinking? The scientist from TCRI, her last name was Utram or something like that. Utram. I think she's
Ultron. Yeah.
Utram. I think she's an alien. And I'm
Oh, yeah,
wondering
yeah.
if this Shredder is going to be like that version of the Shredder in the TMNT joint when he was a Utram. So I'm like, yo, is this Shredder going to be Utrom too? I'm thinking that's going to be the case. And I don't think they should have went to school yet. I think the school thing, the major acceptance and going to school, that should have been in the sequel, I think. You know what I'm saying? But,
Mm.
you know,
Well,
I think that's
like,
something that should have been worked up to.
you know, uh, that's interesting. And this kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, and I don't know why I never thought of this. Obviously Hollywood is accepting this. Is getting into the whole multiverse thing, and they, with multiple multiverse movies. Especially with all the
Yeah.
what the MCU is doing and everything, and then Spider Verse. But it really never occurred to me until I watched that movie, Mutant Mayhem. It's like, okay, so those versions of the turtle. It's kind of like, well, I'm gonna see if how I can say this. It's inevitable in any version of Ninja Turtles that there's gonna be a Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, Leonardo. There's gonna be an April, but it's not of what we're used to. It's those are different ones. They're actually like they have different uh it takes place actually in the current time. It's like because in this
Hmm.
movie there's cell phones, there's internet and everything like that.
Right, right.
So it's impossible for like it's impossible for those turtles to be the turtles of the 80s because it took place in the 80s. I don't know
Right,
if I'm
right.
making any sense. It's like there's always going to be an April O'Neil. She might not be white. She's going to be black, but there's going to be a person named April O'Neil who's going to help out the turtles. She's going to be a newscaster. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a Donatello, but this Donatello, this one, he's going to be like not necessarily tech savvy, at least yet, but he's going to be really into anime and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's
Right.
not. He doesn't build things yet because, and I take it because he's so young. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Leonardo. And this Leonardo, this one, he's not so different from what we're used to, except the fact that this time he has a crush on April. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was really funny. I
Yeah,
thought it was
because
so funny.
in
He's like,
the 2012 jump, Donatello had a crush on April, and in this jump,
right,
Leonardo did. It's
right.
interesting.
I thought it was so
But
funny the way he acted. He's like, let's help out the beautiful human. He's just acting all crazy and stuff. And he's like,
yeah, and overzealous. That was hilarious.
yeah, that was funny.
And then Leonardo used the Batman voice, and
The back.
Michael Bay joint, Raphael was doing the Batman voice.
Ah, I see. I
That
see.
was
I've
funny.
only seen those movies once, and even when you talk about 2007, that's what I wanted to say. When you talk about 2007,
I
TMNT.
said 17, didn't I? 7. My bad.
Oh no, it's all man, dude. I flubbed on a bunch of stuff. But no, in that version of I didn't like the villain. I thought the villain was corny,
Okay.
even though he was voiced by Patrick Stewart. I thought that was cool, but I thought the villain in the 2007 joint was corny. And I've maybe seen that movie maybe once, and that's it. And I was okay. So there's not a lot I remember from that movie except Leonardo, Raphael fight. I thought that was cool. Which
That
is
was pretty epic.
to this day, people are like, okay, did Leonardo let him win? I don't know. People, it's always debatable.
I think
Um,
so. Cause I think so. Well, not in a let him win, but I don't think Leonardo was really fighting him. I think Raphael was really fighting, but
right,
Leonardo was like not really because you know what I'm saying? Raphael was in full rage mode, you know what I mean? And Leonardo wasn't. Leonardo was just like trying to get the team in order, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think he was
right,
really fighting. And Raphael really had a grudge against Leonardo. So
yeah.
not that he
Matter of
let
fact,
him win.
no, no, I was gonna say there's a point in the fight where Leonardo looked almost shocked at the
Yeah,
fact that he was like, Raphael was going 100%. But yes, continue. I'm sorry.
yeah, that right there, like not so much that he let him win, but he didn't know Raphael was really
That
going
pissed
at
off.
him like that. Right.
Mm,
Like, cause I mean, cause they both good fighters. And in a real fight with good fighters on both sides, anybody can get it. You know what I'm saying?
oh
So if
yeah,
you have a moment of hesitation, I think Leonardo had a moment of hesitation and Raphael didn't. When he broke his it's been a minute since I watched it. But he broke his blades, you know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? And then when Raphael like realized what he was doing, he panicked and he ran off. And that was
right.
when, Leonardo got captured. But I think that
And
was
I,
still a good fight. I think they fought each other in the comics,
oh, I
in the
just I, I
old
just not
comics.
a lot of comics. I haven't read a lot of the comics. Because
Oh man.
that's
Back
one thing
when
I
I
will
first
say. What you about to say? I'm sorry.
now
I like this.
when I first started reading comics, oh yeah, this is dope, right?
Yeah,
When I first started
no,
reading
it's
comics,
it's just us talking. What I'm saying. It's and not taking anything away from like the stuff that I do with the round tables or anything like that. But it's like when I'm on, it's
it feels
like
less
a lot.
formal. Because I don't feel like
It's
nobody looking at me. I kind of get
right.
self-conscious when I feel like somebody looking at me. And then you know what I mean? It do me a certain kind of way. But yeah,
And I know, and for me personally, like when I'm in front of a camera, I don't know how to move my body a lot of times, and in the position that I'm in, because I don't have a lot of space to work with.
right.
It's just like I do a lot of awkward stuff. I don't even realize I do it until I'm on camera. I'm like, oh wow, why did I do that? But
It's like, yo,
anywho,
I really hold my mouth like that. My mouth moves like that. Let me try to look cool. Let me lean to the side so I look a little
bro,
bit cool. Yeah.
the
Yeah,
faces
I
the
get a little
faces I
self-conscious.
make, I'd be like, bro, why did I make that face, son? I mean, I didn't even realize it. I'm like, wow, I was really I don't. Wow, was it? Because it can be off-putting a lot of times. Because I don't even know why I make the faces I make. A lot of people could ask me like, "Are you tired?" I'm like, "No, I'm not tired. It's just the way that my eyes look. Well, I
You
am
know
probably
what?
tired, but
Right. Like,
whatever."
yo, I just, like somebody assumed that I smoke and I'm like, nah, I just look
Right,
like this. I don't know. I
bro.
got big eyes. You know what I mean? What the heck? What I'm
Right.
supposed to do? But,
Hate when people
matter
ask
of
me.
fact, somebody said we look alike, yo. Some years ago, this girl told me that we look alike. She asked me were we related.
Yeah,
I
we
was like,
do.
nah.
And,
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm like, nah, we're not related, but I guess we do. And then that's when I looked at it. I was like, we do a little bit. I mean, in my eyes
yeah.
anyway. But hey, I guess we just
Yeah.
been knowing each other too long.
Hey, we're brothers from a different mother and a daddy. you know,
And
you know.
daddy.
in a dirty. But yeah,
So bad.
you know what I'm saying, whew, trying to get this
But
pizza.
Turtles was the first comic book I ever had, yo. Ninja Turtles was
Oh,
the very first comic book I ever bought in my life. Was
like
Archie's. It
with
was
your own
Archie
money?
Ninja Turtles though,
Wow.
with my own money. And
Is it?
that's when I first learned about sales tax because the comic book was $1. Dre had walked, for the audience that don't know, Dre, my big brother, my oldest brother, he walked me
Shout out to
to,
Jerry.
shout out to Dre, you know what I'm saying? Walked me to 7-Eleven
Sorry.
to buy my very first comic book. And I found out about sales tax because it was $1.05. And I was like, $1.05. And Dre gave me a nickel and I bought my first comic book. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
But, so the
Yo,
80s, huh?
sorry, I just gotta say this. I talked to, when I was talking to after the round table was over. I was talking to Brookston. Shout out to Brookston.
Brookston.
He was Brookston. He was telling me that there's a Legends back in Wilson. Now, I said, hold on, Legends like from back in the day. He says, I'm not sure if it's owned by the same person. It might be. So,
Whoa.
if that is, because Jeff Lewis owned the original Legends, and if it's him, man, I
Yeah.
haven't seen him in a long time, and I would love to see him and
Dude.
you know, catch up with him. So I'm gonna see if I
Wow.
can do
Yeah. Cause
that.
he's like, this dude is like a vital part of my childhood, like a Power Ranger or something.
Bro, let me tell you
Yeah.
something. The Saturday I would spend not only would I spend money in there or whatever, which to me was a lot, at least $10 I would spend in there, but I would spend so much time asking him mad questions because it would be like I would watch X-Men, right? Soon as X-Men was over with, oh crap, I got a ton of questions and I was excited about the episode. And he would just
Right.
God bless him, he was so patient. He would answer as much as he could, you know what I'm saying? Great guy.
Yeah.
So if it's
Yeah,
him,
man. He was
shout out to
cool as a
Jeff,
mug,
man.
yo.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
But
Jeff.
yeah, man. Yeah, he was mad cool because I didn't have nowhere near $10 to spend though. But you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
could get Image Comics was like $1.95 at that point.
Bro.
And so
Um,
to me back then that was high, man. $1.95, man. And a regular comic
oh,
was like $1.25 at the time, $1.50.
yeah. Like
So yeah, that was
something like gosh, especially when they had the annual things. I think those would be like two
oh
dollars and fifty
man,
cent. Man,
yeah,
so
that was it's crazy how that was expensive. Cause the regular comics when I first started buying comics, the regular comics was like $1. But
right.
the X-Men, the Jim Lee X-Men was $1.25. The Todd McFarlane Spider-Man was $1.25. And the Amazing Spider-Man, Eric Larson, Amazing Spider-Man was $1. So I had to like budget, you know what I'm saying? Because when the Jim Lee joint would come out, it was like, yo, okay, I gotta go back to the house and get another quarter from somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
This is serious,
Wow.
so give him a quarter. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
I was a witness. Get me a
Give
reporter.
me a reporter.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. For those who are listening, I've been trying to get partners in crime on my podcast. I kind of talked to him a little bit because I was like, dude, I'm trying to get to my podcast for a minute, like months before, and he did respond in the comment. He's like, I got some things going on, but just stay tuned or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's how this whole thing works, man. It's just like everybody got different schedules. All you got to do is just stay like consistent when it comes to like, okay, trying to get your name out there and trying to book people. I never get. I try and just kind of focus on the goal at hand because because there be times where I put out so many emails and I'll get a response back. I'm like, dang, I don't remember sending them an email, but I guess I did. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, just
even
saturate.
say what now?
Yeah. I said just saturate the market and whatnot with emails just all over the place. Then when they start coming
Yeah,
back to you, it's like I did that with job applications when I first moved here. It's like, yeah, I just
exactly.
started just hitting everybody with job applications. And then I'm getting phone calls and I'm like, I don't remember applying to you, but okay, yeah, I come in for your interview. You know what I mean?
Sure, right, exactly. And just putting your. I call it. I don't. It sounds gross, but I just it's in the Bible. There, just putting your seed out there, like what I'm saying, put out many seeds. Eventually,
Well,
something's
I
going to
wouldn't have thought
blossom.
of it like garden wise. I
Yeah,
wouldn't have thought of it. Yeah.
yeah,
Sprinkle your
yeah.
seeds out there in the soil. Something gonna
in the
spring up. You know
soil.
what I mean?
Right,
There you
right.
go. Yeah, yeah. In the
Hey,
entertainment soil. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
yo, when I
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, sorry,
Secret of the
just
Ooze. Now, one thing I did like, I'm a sucker for the superhero pose. But one thing I did like about Secret of the Ooze is when they fought the bad guys at the very beginning and they all jumped up in the air and it froze and it said Teenage Mutant Ninja
uh,
Turtles. That was
I,
dope. That was dope. I'm a sucker for a superhero pose. And yeah, I'm a sucker
did,
for that.
did you notice in Mutant Mayhem, the Avengers 360 shot?
Yeah,
And they make
yeah, I
like
did.
they they make
They
like
did like they did
two.
like three superhero poses.
Yeah. So
Oh, you know
they
what? And
made.
one thing. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, finish.
Now, I was gonna say
What you
one
about to
thing about
say?
a superhero pose. It reminded me of the thing that I was going to say earlier. That one of my gripes is with Rocksteady and Bebop being good guys, kind of right off the rip, is they had the Mighty Mutanimals. The Mighty Mutanimals were from the Archie comic. I think they started in the Archie comic. I could be wrong.
Right.
I know Leatherhead was in the OG comics. I remember he was in Tales of the TMNT, and I was surprised to see him. And he wasn't like a Cajun, and he wasn't a bad guy. He was just a giant mutant alligator in the sewer that the turtles had came across. The Tales of the TMNT was dope because the Rat King was kind of scary. But anyway, the
Dude.
Mighty
Yeah.
Mutanimals. You remember the Rat King?
I do remember. It's so everything you're saying is so crazy because like you already met Shane
Yeah.
from the Ant-Man episode. Shout out to Shane, but
Shout out to Shane.
everything
Shane.
Shane, Cowabunga Mike, everything you're saying, we literally had like like a 30-minute conversation about well, he mentions the Mutanimals in the podcast episode, but after we watched the movie together, he was talking the
Mhm.
very same thing. Everything you talk about the Rat King, and there's this cat that Splinter has beef with one eye. Um, I forgot the cat's name.
Oh, oh, Hob, I
Um,
think.
oh Hob, yeah. And we talking
Okay.
about how to it's kind of like almost like a reference to Nick Fury, which by the way, Secret Invasion was trash. Just want to say that real quick. But I shouldn't say trash because I can't write it better. But I'm just saying I was very bored and I was a little disappointed in that. Um, but uh, but anyway, but it's like you guys have a lot in common. You know what I'm saying? He's really
Ah,
heavy into the comics, the Ninja Turtles comics, just as you are. So I really think that's why, like I said, I wish you were a part of the original roundtable. But we'll do it again. Whenever the
yeah, I'm
next
like
Ninja Turtle
Avengers
movie come
West
out.
Coast.
Yeah. Yes, West Coast
I'm Wonder
Alex.
Man in the situation.
Word. Like, it
Now
was.
B
Oh
just
man.
flew in here.
And
Like, come on, B buddy, why you gotta be in here?
oh,
Go
why you gotta
outside.
be in here? You
Why
killing the
you gotta
buzz.
be in here?
Killing the
Don't be a
buzz.
buzzkill, buddy.
Don't be a buzzkill.
Yeah.
But yo, and you know what? I was surprised on like this, like with the roundtable that I just did. Um, and this is my first time doing it with 5 people because
Hey, B
Brookston,
buddy.
was part of it. And I was surprised about how smooth it went. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Okay.
was a little concerned with like having too many people, but not.
Okay.
But it went smooth and it's not hard to do. Um, I'm actually like, and even having the conversation that we're having today, I'm thinking about going along the lines of just going strictly audio. Because
Okay.
Justin Long, who's like one of my favorite actors, he's been in The Waiting,
Okay.
he's been in a bunch of movies. He has a podcast that I listen to called Life is Short, and he it's all audio. It's strictly podcast. It's not on YouTube or anything like that. And the benefit of that is, well, a lot of people when people ask about my podcast, people are like, oh, is it on YouTube? Because if it's on YouTube, I can watch it. You know what I'm saying? They'll go straight to the YouTube instead of going to the actual audio podcast. And
Hmm.
I find that with the nothing wrong with that, but I find that if you listen to it, it's cool because it's kind of like you're able to listen to it on the go as you're walking, and you're able to absorb some information, more rather than sitting down and watching it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's just my opinion. And then like also like I said, it's sometimes man, like when it comes to editing, it takes me a while to edit. You know what I'm saying? the stuff.
Okay.
So I'd rather just do it audio. It's just a thought. It's not a guarantee. It's just a thought. But I
Yeah,
love what
yeah.
we're doing today because I don't plan on editing anything and just going put and posting it. And it's you know what I'm saying it's fast. Um. So yeah. The movie was cool. Mutant Mayhem. I'm wondering what it's going to do at the box office, which is going to determine whether or not there's going to be a sequel. Although they have said that they already it's already lined up to be a sequel. You know what I'm saying?
They said it was doing
Spider.
well though,
Good. I hope so. It deserves.
and I
It
haven't heard
deserves to do
anything
well.
bad about it. Well, I mean, there were complaints about a Black April and whatnot. That was like early on. Um,
Oh,
but
and
my
her
thing
throwing
with
up that was hilarious.
I was like, yeah, that's Seth Rogen right there, because I didn't know they was going to show it. Because when she first started throwing up, they cut away from it, and then it
Right.
went back to it, and it was playing "Unwritten" Natasha Bedingfield. That's like one of my favorite songs, like
See,
period.
we were just talking about that the other day. No, yeah, we were. Yeah, we just talked about Natasha Bedingfield the other day. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. Like out of all genres and everything, that's like one of my favorite songs ever. But and
And
then when she
Robin.
was just throwing up so dramatically, man, it was hilarious, man. I was
She was
cracking up.
grabbing the banister, and it was going. It's just the looks in her eyes. It's that thing that we all do when we throw up. It's like we got shot in the face or got shot in the stomach or whatever. It's that thing that we all do. I hate throwing up. It's not
What
fun.
a sir. I be tired as crap. Yo, my stomach be like, yo, like I've been doing mad sit-ups and
20
you keep doing
mad
them.
sit ups, and you get that thing
And
in your
just when you
cheek,
think that it's over, it come back. And it's like, dude, for real?
bro. And that thing that little. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know about you, like, but I'm sorry to be gross, guys. But I'm just being real. It's like that thing that happens, like when after you throw up, you get this like I can't like a shock in your cheeks. It's like I can't describe. It's like shocking.
Like
Like
muscle spasm.
yeah. It's and the taste. Anywho,
Okay, yeah, we get a little too deep in it now.
yeah. So, it's your trauma. You know what I'm saying? Your mom make you eat crackers, good and well, knowing that you got the stomach bug, but you eat them, but she forcing you to eat them, and then
But
throwing them
that's
out anyway.
therapeutic.
But
That's healing, yo. It's power
yes,
in saltine crackers and ginger ale. You know
and
what I'm saying?
and and soup. The Campbell soup.
It's soup.
Um.
Ah,
I'm gonna ask you the same question about everything that's going on with the writer's strike and everything like that. What are your thoughts on that?
pay those people, man. Because with any company, any business, it's your people that's making your money. Not saying, okay, you need to pay them as much as you getting paid, but make sure your people are taken care of. If they're putting out a quality product and they're making you a billionaire, then they're going to pay these people, man. Pay them a fair wage. Inflation is crazy. Everybody in the movie industry is not rich. And after learning, I've been listening to a bunch of, listening and reading a bunch of writing books and screenwriting books and stuff like that. These people are competing to have their written work, to get credit for their written work. Because when you write something, a screenplay, and you sell it, they might hire somebody to rewrite your entire
Rewrite it.
screenplay and
Yeah.
you lose your writing credit. So you lose your residual income. You know what I'm saying? And as I said before, you might do this one job and make $300,000, which is a lot of money. But then you might
Yeah.
not get no more work for the next 5 years. You see actors in movies and then you don't see them no more for a long time. And then when you finally do see him, it's like, hey, I remember him from back in the day. And it's like, yo, that person was having to live off that money since then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Short Round from Indiana Jones, but I haven't seen
Shut
him in
up.
anything from Temple of Doom until Everything Everywhere All at Once. You know what I'm saying? So you might say, oh, he rich, he got paid from Temple of Doom. But then, me personally, not saying he hadn't done any acting since then, but that's the last time I seen it. So I can only speak on
Right.
what I know. So
Eh,
imagine an actor that you did something iconic like Indiana Jones, and then nobody hears from you for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And then you come back. But every actor, that's not every actor's story. But what I'm saying is, these actors are basically like temps. And you assume that they're rich because you see them on TV. So it's easy to assume that they're rich. And so you see them here and they might get paid a lump sum of money, and then they never get paid again. You know what I'm saying? It's like if they don't know when the next check is going to come, so acting gigs aren't coming. I got to go get a regular job now. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't remember his real name, but Elvin from the Cosby Show, when that lady
Right.
tried to shame him for working at a grocery store. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I mean, I remember him from the Cosby Show, but I don't know what he did from that point on. You know what I'm saying? Life happens to people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah.
and if I get paid $100,000 for this acting gig right here, I don't know where my next acting check is going to come from. So I got to go to work. You know what I mean? It's like hitting the lottery. I'm not going to hit the lottery every day. So I got to go. I got to keep working. You know what I'm saying? So nah, pay those people, actors, writers, pay these people. These corporations, these CEOs, and all these high-ranking people, you know, they getting their money off of you. Make sure that your people are taken care of, so your money can keep coming in. You know what I mean? And it sucks, but with a lot of management, upper management and stuff, these your money problems have to become their money problems before they look out for you, and it shouldn't be that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
You're
pay those
right.
people. Everybody ain't Robert Downey Jr. making $1 billion off a 10-year stretch. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't that. You know what I mean? There's some people that I'm gonna act in this movie right here, and then you're not going to see me for another 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And then I pop up again with it, and I get a check, and then you might not see me for another year. You know what I'm saying? Pay those people.
I agree. I agree 100%. And just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, when you talk about Elvin working at the grocery store, folks, he was working at Trader Joe's, and I could tell you right now, the hiring process at Trader Joe's is it's pretty strict. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's a high quality grocery store. It's a really nice grocery store too. I just want to say that real quick. Also, when you talk about Jonathan Key Kwan or Key Kwan, I listened to a podcast he was on, and his story is heartbreaking. I'm not just talking about what I'm
Really?
saying being dormant for 22 years. I'm talking like when he was in Vietnam, and sorry if I messed it up, but basically when he had to move to America, he had to be separated from his family. So like he
Mm,
didn't see his brother and sisters for a while because of something that was going on in Vietnam. I think the Saigon thing that was going on. I could be wrong.
okay.
But he had to be separated from his brothers and everything like that. So for a long time, while he was acting for Temple of Doom, he didn't see a lot of his family, and it was very painful for him. And
Wow.
it was like literally and it was Temple of Doom. Then he did Goonies, which was directed by Richard Donner and produced by Steven Spielberg. Then I think he did a few other things. Like I totally forgot that he was on Head of the Class. Like when Howard Hessman left, he was on Head of the Class for a little bit.
Okay.
He did a few other TV things. He also did uh for when he stopped acting, he did a lot of behind the scenes stuff. He did some of the action choreography for the first X-Men film. You know,
Oh wow. That's what's
yeah,
up.
yeah. The scene between the fight scene between Mystique and Wolverine, when
Okay.
Mystique is posing as Wolverine, he set all of that stuff up. So he did a lot of
Wow.
stuff
So
because
he would okay.
he had to
That's good.
but it was critical because for a long time, his he was under SAG for a long time, but
Mhm.
he didn't have insurance, health insurance, because you have to be making a certain amount of money, and you know how it is. And so
Yeah.
it was nuts. I mean, it was really touch and go, but he like I said, he got the script for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he auditioned for it and he got it. But before then,
Man, I'm glad he
ultimately,
got it, yo. It was good to see
oh
him back on the front side of the camera. And he's gonna be in Loki season 2.
yeah, I saw the trailer for that, and it looks
That's
really
dope,
cool.
man. I'm glad he having that renaissance, you could call it. I don't know what you would call
Yeah,
that, but I'm glad to see him again because I mean that's a piece of childhood right there. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. But also, I want to go back to what you said, piggyback off of what you said too. Like when you talk about actors and working actors, you know what I'm saying? And it's like you're absolutely right because like a lot of actors, I think a lot. I think this strike, in addition to 2020, totally exposed this whole facade of you know all the people in Hollywood are rich and making money. Because
Yeah.
the more things have been exposed, and the more that I research and talk to people, I realize, bro, it is literally just a job, but it's just a job that they happen to like doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are
Right. Right.
exceptions where people, you know what I'm saying, are able to get like, you got your A-listers or whatever that, and make a lot of money and stuff like that. But that's a very small
Yeah.
percentage. You got people who work. I talked to an actor who said, like, he said, man, at one point, like a lot of his friends, like who you might recognize, had to like, get like two or three jobs in addition to go out on auditions. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Wow.
um, there when I talked to Sean Weiss, who directed sorry, not directed, sorry, when I talked to Sean Weiss, who's Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks, I told him, I said, I asked him, does he believe, because of what's going on with Jonathan Keyquan winning an Oscar and a few other things I noticed, that this is a resurgence in, like, for the actors of my generation. And he says he felt like he's had his time, but he says I just, he just wants to work. He's a working actor. I said, yeah, that's what it is. They're working actors. This is their job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, and they deserve to get paid what they get paid. And it's a long day. I did extra work one time. I did extra work for
Oh.
this show that's not on Showtime anymore, but it's called Outcast, and they were doing stuff in Rock
Okay.
Hill, and it's a 12 hours
12
12
hours.
hours, son. In addition to, I was working a real job too. So it's just like, you know, that's a long freaking day. I
That's
mean,
a
yeah,
long day.
you don't do a lot. I mean, they got plenty of snacks. Oh gosh, they had snacks up the wazoo. But I mean, but man, it was a long day. I mean, I was like, there was a point I was just like, bro, I can I because of how I've been conditioned to work, just standing around, it kind of bothers me. I'm be honest with you,
Oh
because
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
moving around and moving and shaking. You know what I'm saying? But and I have my lazy moments, Lord knows I do. But I'm just saying, like it's like it's a work, it's a job, and people
Right.
as a
Right.
job deserve to get paid what they get paid. They deserve benefits, and yeah, it's a
And
microcosm of what's going on
it's
in our
a
society.
job that you can't even afford to slump on because when you work in customer service, you can kind of, hey, how you doing? Have a nice day. You know what I mean? But when you're acting, you gotta be
You
in
work.
character. So you have to be that skipper employee that they paying you to be. You know what I mean? So that
Yes.
gotta be kind of tough. Cause I remember when I worked there at Walmart, I was a cashier, and the guy, one of the managers, was telling. It was close to Christmas time, and the guy telling me to smile. Oh, I'm a smile for. I mean, I don't fake smile. I smile when I'm interacting with customers if it's a genuine smile. But if I'm not genuinely smiling, I'm not just gonna plaster a smile on my face just to keep up appearances. But as an actor, you have to do that, regardless
Hey,
how you
look,
feeling or if it's a genuine laugh. You gotta make it genuine. That's work, man.
bro. For managers in retail who tell employees to smile, customers can tell when you're faking on the bacon, and they will call you out on it. And so, if it ain't coming from a real place, don't ask your employees to do that. Really,
No, it gotta be
it's enough.
genuine.
It's enough just being there, please. You know what
Right,
I mean?
right.
And I mean, really, they should stop that mess. It's not. I remember Johnny Depp said something. What did he say? He said something along the lines of, like, when people he would go out for auditions and people asked for his what he's done. They said, "Have you ever acted before?" This is like when he first started doing it. He says, "Yeah, I've been acting all my life. I had to sell pens." He says, and that was an act. I mean, I had to act like I wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? So to a certain
Right.
degree, we all been acting. You know what I'm saying? You
We all
know
been
what I mean?
acting.
You know.
Yeah,
But yeah. Ooh,
that's funny
this is.
because, but see, I like being genuine with my customer service because I like people. I know sometimes people suck, you know what I mean? People suck, but most people that suck, they suck for a reason, you know what I'm saying? And,
Hmm.
people suck, but I like people though, you know what I mean? So I can genuinely interact with people with genuine kindness and not just cold courtesy. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this because I gotta do it. But mind you, don't give me no bull mess now, because I get smart with people too. I get smart with a smile on my face. But I digress. That's completely off the subject.
And
Ninja
I know we
Turtles.
got
I
this is the
remember
scatterbrain hour, y'all.
Scatterbrained. Yo, I remember when I first found out that Ninja Turtles cuss and kill people. It was like, what? Because I grew up off the '80s cartoon and then the Archie comics. And I remember telling Dre, my big brother, I was talking to one of his friends, older than me or whatever, and I was telling him about Ninja Turtles or something. I think I drew a picture of a Ninja Turtle and showed it to him, and he was like, then he asked me, did I know about the original Turtles? And I was like, nah. He was like, yeah, they cuss and kill people, and I was like, for real? No, they don't. I thought he was just messing with me, being older and teasing me. And he was like, nah,
Right.
they kill people, and they don't be like, so the vulgarity, the SMD and all that stuff like that. They don't say that, but it would be like, did you know what I'm saying? And I was like, no, and it just
Oh,
blew my mind. And then
yeah.
I bought the comic book adaptation to the movie, and I think that's when I first seen the Turtles cuss, was in the comic book adaptation to the '90s movie. And and I remember it because it just shocked me. Raphael cuss and Donatello cuss, and I was like, oh, they cussing. You know what I'm saying? And then I start buying the Tales of the TMNT, and it had some stuff in it. And then I saw the graphic novel for the very first issue. The graphic novel had like the first few issues in it, and they fought the Shredder, and they killed him. And I was like, what? And they killed like 50 foot soldiers, and it just blew my mind. It just
Yeah.
blew my mind.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know either. Like a lot of and argue like people be like, you're not a real Turtles fan if you didn't read the comics. But my exposure for the Turtles first came with the cartoon, which, by the way, back in the day was kind of a before it went into like before it got popular and went into syndication. It was quite it's a hard time trying to figure out when it comes on. For me, it was like, is it coming on at 4 o'clock today or 5? It's just it was never a set time, and so
Yeah, yeah.
when I would catch it, I would love it, absorb as much as I could from it. Then later on, when the movie first came out, it totally blew my freaking mind, and so hearing that, Raphael say damn, hearing Michelangelo say, I can kick the damn rabbit. Those are things that oh my gosh, and I'll never forget this. I think I was at Forest Hills, and like it was a special day when that teacher pulls in that cart with the TV on there, and she
Oh
says,
man.
we're gonna watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Bro, I about lost my freaking mind. People got to understand something too. Back in the day, movie stayed in the movie theater for, depending on its popularity, movie would stay in the movie theater for at least 7 months. And then it was like you probably
They
won't get it
don't
to come on VHS until the year later.
like a
So
year later, they
right,
just don't know. And we
they
didn't
don't.
get trailers that you could rewind on YouTube. We just had commercials,
Mm-mm.
and you had to catch the commercial when it came on. If you didn't catch it, you gotta wait. Hopefully you catch it next time. Unless you go to the
As
movie theater and then they show it. And I didn't really go to the movies that much back then. I saw
right.
Wrath of Khan and Gremlins. I'm telling my age right now. Top secret
Hey.
classified. But I seen those two movies, and I couldn't tell you what else I saw between that and seeing what Mrs. Doubtfire at the Dollar Theater.
Right.
So I can't tell you what I saw, because you know what I'm saying. Different times, man. Different times.
And people don't know the Dollar Theater is a theater where they'll show movies that's been in a movie theater that's just about to be released on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray, and they'll put it
Speaking of
back.
which, I
They'll
gotta
put it
pick
at
up
a.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Sorry,
There you go. No, no, go and pick it up. But
I pre-ordered Guardians of the Galaxy. Gotta go to Best Buy and go get it.
yeah, yeah, and by the way, y'all, yeah, me and Alex talk about this all the time. We're all about the physical media, man. Keep that going, man, because it's so funny.
Man,
I watched the I always love to hear people's points of view about that whole thing, and there's this one guy. He was saying it's not disappearing. It's not becoming extinct, but it's more becoming a niche. a
Yeah.
niche.
Or
You know what I'm
obscure.
saying? Yeah, it's
Niche,
for
niche,
people
one of
who
them.
one of those, and I kind of agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it'll ever totally be extinct. But what I will say is that I think that like, and I say this, it might sound crazy, it might sound a little crazy. I think certain studios should like pull back some of their library from some of these streaming services, and like, and those streaming services can still stay in existence, but and show their
Yeah.
exclusive content. But then
Yeah.
I'm off. This gonna sound crazy, and I know whatever. Hey, if they need to bring back video stores or whatever, bring them back. I just miss that, man. I miss going to the video store, looking around, seeing what I want based off the cover art. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
call me old fashioned, but that built up the anticipation. You know what I'm saying?
I think
And then
that's a
also,
base human instinct though, like that hunter gatherer thing. That's like a base human instinct to go
yeah,
out and get. See, ordering it in the instant gratification, that's dope and everything because of the convenience. But I think
yeah,
that is going to come to a point where people going to want to go back out and get stuff. Remember when we were locked down with with the pandemic and whatnot? Everybody was
yep.
relieved to get back out and go. And I think that's going to come around. We're going to end up like them fat people in Wally. You know what I mean? Not body shaming, but the people in
Bro,
Wally that couldn't get up out their chair. You know what I'm
I think about
saying?
that
Like,
all. I think about that
you
all
got
the
to keep
time.
your
Yeah,
mobility. Yeah. Yeah, man. Keep your mobility as best you can, man, because health is wealth. You know what I mean? Be
hey,
happy and love yourself. But, at the same time, take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Make sure,
I
you can support and continue your happiness. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think about that a lot, man. Because like, I'm. Don't get me wrong. Like most of the country, Amazon is awesome, bro. I mean, it's
Amazon.
convenient. You know what I'm saying? And actually, sometimes it's actually, you know, not all the time, but it's better to order from Amazon than actually going to the store. Sometimes it's cheaper, and then vice versa. You know,
Yeah.
but when it gets to it, like, it's like everything is just like
Instant
it's too
gratification.
everything, and there's no joy. It's like, and we talked about this
The
before, where it's
adventure
like,
and accomplishment is not there because I mean it's dope. I like getting packages in the mail. That's dope. But
yeah,
also I like to because I be buying the Transformers, the 86 series Transformers and whatnot. And it's just
right,
a feeling. I can see it on Amazon and go order it now. But it's just that aha when I turn the corner on the toy aisle and I see what I'm looking for right there. I see my Optimus Prime, my Grimlock, right there on the shelf, and it's like, yo, I'm gonna cop this. That's just a
gridlock. I'm sorry.
right. That's just a you know what I'm saying. Matter of fact, Snarl just got released. Snarl just got released this month. I gotta go look for him. You know what I'm saying.
Nice. I ain't
And
gonna
then
lie,
man,
bro.
I wanted to be on the podcast, the video, because I want to show off my Ninja Turtle toys, like a little kid want to show off my toy.
Man, dude,
Because yeah,
those
it was
action
some
figures
very
are boss.
responsible purchases. They are dope. I ain't took them out the box yet. I want to, and I want to play with them, but then I'm like, the adult in me, and then the kid in me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I just got the shredder with the battle damage across his chest when Leonardo jumped and slashed him with them two katana blades, and blood went flying everywhere. And I was just like, how old was I? 10, 11-year-old me was traumatized. Not as bad as with Transformers the movie, but I was slightly
Uh,
traumatized.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole different bag of cats right there. Is that
Yeah,
that
but we
movie?
need to keep physical
Yeah.
media because digital, you don't own it. You're licensing it. And then it's linked to the internet. Because I remember I had some months ago, I had trouble with my internet service provider because my internet got wrapped up into my rent. And so, but the cable company was still charging me and the rent company was charging me for the same internet. And I had a problem with it.
Hmm.
And the internet company kept cutting my internet off. Like for like a month, I would have to call them, stay on the phone for like 2 hours. They'll turn it back on. The next day, they turned it off again. And I would have to stay on the phone for another 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they cut it on, sometimes they wouldn't. But during that season, I couldn't access any of my digital media because I buy the
Wow.
movies that come with the digital code. And so, I would oftentimes just use the digital code and file away the disc. You know what I'm saying? And so I couldn't watch any of my digital media. You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, I can't access anything. None of my streaming services except like on my phone or
Right.
whatever. But you know, that I
And
couldn't use my Wi-Fi.
not only that is not only that, and Netflix is, and after this we're going to wrap it up. But and Netflix is notorious for doing this. They'll have a movie on, and then like you like when you itching to want to watch it, it's gone.
Get
Like I
pulled.
really
It's
wanted to
gone.
watch the original trilogy before watching, the movie Mutant Mayhem, and then it's gone. And they won't tell you nothing. I mean, they'll kind of warn you,
Wow.
what I'm saying? But yeah, it's gone, and it'll go to another streaming services or whatever. And that gets a little annoying. But look,
That is tiring.
we've been talking for a minute. It's been great. I love this. Um, Scatterbrain Hour. You know what I'm saying? Featuring Alex. Thank you for I know we
Super.
like super dynamite. But no. Just to let people know, like I literally called Alex. I was like, hey, um, are you up? And then he's like, what's up? I said, can we do like a little scatterbrain hour? And he was cool enough to do it. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I know you got a lot going on. So thanks, man, for doing it, man. I
I
appreciate
rolled over and wiped the eye boogers out my eyes and checked the time on my phone and seen the message. It was like, huh, what's going on?
What's up, everybody? That was a lot of fun. Shout out to Alex, man. If you like this and you want to get more unedited conversation like this, me and Alex and we talk about like this all the time. Just let me know. Special Delivery Show 86 at gmail.com. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about previous shows as well. I really love to hear from you. Also, I have like at least 30 minutes more of the conversation that we've had. And if you want to hear more of that, let me know. And that's it. Peace.